Live from Los Angeles, California. Welcome to Good Morning La La Land. I'm Dr. Erin.
I'm Rob Mack.
Official. And I'm Jessalyn Boye.
That's right.
Good morning, La La Land. We are streaming to you live Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific time on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and now on Twitter.
That's right. And today is all about Friday feeling. It's all about dating, love, and relationships. So we have a topic about the science of love. And then we also have from our expert today 3 secrets to having a great marriage. And then also, if you just want to have that Friday feeling, you don't want to miss this show.
I'm struggling with the Friday feels today.
Are you? You don't seem like you are. You seem just fine, Jessalyn.
I am. No, but thank you. It was funny because as soon as Rob got to the studio, he's like, let's turn on the tune.
Right?
Yeah.
Music.
Music. It brings the feeling.
We need a lot more music on this show. We decided, we declared today, right now, we need more music,
Yeah,
right?
see, I always have music playing in my head. People think I'm a little
in your
naive,
head
but
right now.
In my head right
What's
now,
going?
there's a theme song.
What is it?
Probably American Gangster by Jay-Z.
He's got us feeling on,
I love that one, yeah. I love
If
that one.
you've got a theme song out there, La La Land, we would love to know about it. Maybe we can feature it on the show, and it'll help me get in the Friday feels.
Right?
That's right.
So look at all this shebang pre-game New Year's Eve stuff, right?
Wow.
The shebang.
Yeah, that'll help you
Yes.
get in the feels right there. They get the feels right there.
Absolutely. We have a very special gift from Manos Public Relations. Thank you so
Beautiful.
much. We've got the Shandong in the house. They are an entertainment, lifestyle, and pop culture PR company located right down the street in Beverly Hills. Thank you so much for supporting the Focus TV family and community. We're really excited about it.
Cool bottle.
Yep.
Man, talk about popping bottles, huh? You got it ready.
So who's
9
the
a.m.
guest today, you guys?
Oh my God. So I'm so excited. We have a very special guest, one of my best friends. I love Lori Harder. She's a cover model,
Gorgeous,
transformational
gorgeous.
expert now, and self-made millionaire. Can't wait to talk to her about her podcast called Earn Your Happy and about a new book that she's got coming out soon.
Oh,
So, yeah,
good
Lori's
morning,
fantastic.
Lori.
Gorgeous. So excited to.
Yes. So here on Good Morning La La Land, we love to ask our guests how they start their day in Los Angeles. What's your morning routine?
Oh man, I always wake up every single morning, and we wake up to a mantra, actually, my husband and I, since we're talking about relationships, and it's I'm happier, healthier, wealthier, and more fit than I was yesterday. And typically I start saying it and it's more like in a really grumpy tone. And he literally makes me say it until it sounds like it's all pumped up and happy. So, you know, sometimes the cheesier the better in the morning.
Okay, what was that mantra one more time?
I'm happier, healthier, wealthier, and more fit than I was yesterday.
Ooh, cheers to that.
And can I say that's actually really working for Lori and Chris? Seriously, like every time I see them, they're always happier, healthier, and wealthier than I've seen them before. So
That's
it does
incredible.
work. It's proof.
And your podcast is doing phenomenally. Congratulations.
5 million downloads.
Earn
Thank
your
you.
happy. And look, her logo brand matches the dress she has, which matches our pillows in the back. I mean, she's got it going on.
Yeah, she's got the branding thing down. You need tips, just reach out to Lori Harder.
And your podcast just reached one of the most popular downloads, right?
It just hit the top 10 suggested page for New You Best Self this year. So I'm super excited about that.
Wow. That calls for a toast,
That
Lori.
definitely calls for a toast.
Absolutely. So I brought in a little Babe Rosé, courtesy of Swish Beverages, founded by Babe Walker and the Cohen brothers, the two geniuses behind White Girl Problems and the social media account Babe Walker. It is one of my favorite go-to beverages because I am a hashtag rosé all day kind of girl. So
we
let's
pop it?
start. Let's pop it
Let's
with
pop
Lori.
Lori. Cheers to Lori.
To Lori, to being fit, happier, healthier.
Wealthier.
I'm happier, healthier, wealthier, and more fit than I was yesterday with Babe Rosé.
Babe Rosé with Babe, you know, and this white girl ain't got no problems. That's what I gotta say. So,
Drink the problems away, huh? Vacate the problems away, drink the problems away. It's all good.
Cheers, you
Yeah,
guys.
cheers.
Happy
to
New
Cheers, Lori.
Year. Cheers.
Wow.
Way to start the day.
I've got so many chemicals going through my body right now. It's coffee, champagne.
Rosé, we are
the
seriously
music
like
playing in my
triple
head.
fisting today.
Yes.
We're all about balance. A little
about
bit
balance.
of good greens, a
Yeah.
little bit of good whatever, all that good
Totally.
stuff.
Well, I love the way Jessalyn puts it. She says moderation and moderation, even in moderation, right?
Amen. Amen. Well said, Rob. I
Take
love when
notes.
you quote me.
I listen. I'm trying to listen. Working on
So
listening.
talking about moderation, how are we going to not have moderation? I want to know how you guys aren't going to not have moderation in the pregame of
Yeah.
this weekend.
Boy, what are your plans? You've got big plans.
Well, I'm
Let's
okay.
start.
I had my cougar dress all laid out for today.
You don't qualify as a cougar, just so you
I'm
know.
not a cougar, just so you know, but
Yeah.
I had my cougar dress because
Yeah.
you know everyone loves that conversation. But I was so lazy because I'm jumping on a plane literally right after we shoot. I'm jumping in an Uber to go to New Mexico for the Karma Coin, kind of our powwow and all that. So I was too lazy. I was like, I don't want to have to change and stuff. So I was like, I'm just gonna wear something I can jump on the plane on.
Yeah, and the one thing we know about you, self-made millionaire, is that you're not lazy. Just so you
I'm
know,
lazy.
you know, it's like Lori saying she's lazy. It's like these people. No, you're not lazy, but I can appreciate
Yeah.
the perspective.
But
Well,
yeah,
good
I
for
think
you.
we're gonna have some pregame. I mean, as you guys know, I'm not a big drinker, but I think we're gonna celebrate, brainstorm, and I think
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
we'll probably have it over quite a few cocktails this weekend.
Yeah,
probably.
well, we're planning
so.
to do something New Year's Eve, so if you guys have suggestions, we're still open. We haven't completely finalized our plans.
And when you don't know what to say on New Year's Eve, Babe Rose's got a few incredible lines for you guys. Starting with, hey, you guys, you look great. Love your face. Have you lost weight?
Oh, there are things.
Let's be honest, someone had to create a sparkling
Wow,
rosé that was
so
so
good.
delicious
Wow.
and most of all, so us. So you're welcome
Wow.
for the pregame,
I
right?
can relate to this one. Love you, miss you, hate you, love you, mean it.
Oh, yeah.
I've been there. I've been codependent in my life. Yeah, I completely relate
You own up to
one.
that?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So I'm gonna pregame in rosé all day with my Babe Rosé, but yeah, no, we're trying to come up with a couple of fun things and places to go. I saw an incredible list, a huge list of the best New Year's parties in Los Angeles, courtesy of LAweekly.com, including the Prohibition New Year's at Union Station. You mentioned that.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Tickets are going for $175. Woo! So if you got some extra
Right.
pocket change to, promote the Prohibition.
We have a
there you
couple
go.
bottles for sale. Maybe we can
Dave Chappelle and John Mayer are going to be at the Forum that
Oh, wow.
night. Tickets are still available. There's going to be an incredible classic Hollywood Roosevelt New Year's. If you haven't been to the Roosevelt, there is nothing more classic Hollywood
It's classic.
in Hollywood than the Roosevelt Hotel. I worked there for a couple of years, actually. Shout out to my Roosevelt family. So it's very near and dear to my heart. But they've got 10 incredible world-class DJs going to be there that night. And you can,
Wow.
go masquerade, dress up, do you. It's going to be
Wow,
fun.
that sounds
Maybe we
dope.
should go to the Roosevelt.
Maybe we should. It sounds amazing.
That sounds
Just
fun.
always has her finger on the pulse of LA.
She does. She's
amazing.
very,
You
very
really
do.
well connected.
Yeah, it helps when it's your job, right?
That's
Fair
the
enough.
amazing thing about this team is that everyone has their genius. They have their strengths and not strengths, and everyone really brings. I'm blown away by the team here with
Wow,
everyone.
that's so sweet.
Yeah.
I feel that way. Definitely feel that way. I'm
No,
deeply
it's interesting because you were just mentioning like learning each other and learning our communication styles.
Ah,
Yeah, I know that we usually talk about relationships from the standpoint of intimacy and dating and all that. And I think it's important to know how we relate, how we communicate. And I've been listening to Ray Dalio's his book, or his audiobook rather, I'm listening to, called Principles. And I think you can use it for all areas of your life. But one thing, I mean, I think he manages a $160 billion fund, but so he has to have relationships, of course, with his wife and 4 kids and all of his teammates, and he talks
And all
a
of
lot.
his $160 million.
yeah.
He talks a lot about different personality types and communication. And I was thinking about for us, like, we have different styles, and it's cool. I think that the more you understand how people relate, how they communicate, the more we're able to naturally just get people. But with you guys, it's been so easy that we haven't hit any of those walls. And I'm just going to know that we're just going to, it's just going to be an ease, totally graceful thing. But it's important to understand. And so I'm curious to know with Lori how they do that in their marriage, how you understand, because everyone has such different communication skills.
It's such a great point, and we communicate differently with different people, even, right? And I know that's something that Lori speaks to as well, is both sort of the way you communicate, of course, to yourself, the way you communicate to maybe the way I communicate with guys, or you might communicate with women, and then also in terms of romantic relationships, professional relationships. I mean, there's so many complexities.
I'm so much nicer when I communicate with you guys than when I communicate with myself. Let's be honest. Yeah. So it'll be interesting to talk to Lori about self-talk and self-love later in the show.
For sure.
Awesome.
So I'm so excited because the second segment, we're going to talk about the science of falling in love. And I think that that's kind of part of the theme of the show is to be conscious and wellness, and how do we go into that lifestyle? How do we fulfill our dreams? And so I want to dive deep into kind of the old school reptilian kind of way of falling in love, the science behind all the different chemicals and biological aspects versus going to a conscious state of choosing love, and how does that look? And
I love that.
great
And let's be honest,
conversation.
most of y'all want to fall in love. Let's be, okay, I started out as a happiness coach. It wasn't about accidentally making me like a love and dating coach, because people generally aren't happy about the relationship, in their lives, and they want more fulfilling, sort of more meaningful relationships in their lives. So.
Especially going into the new year, that's one of the most popular New Year's resolutions is to better relationships.
Yes.
Perfect timing.
Right?
Yeah, more on
So
this
stay
when we come
tuned, you
back.
guys. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to debate
Oh.
falling in love, kind of the science behind it versus consciously having like a higher purpose to it. So stay tuned, you guys. In La La Land, I'm Dr. Aaron.
I'm Rob Mack.
And I'm Jasmine Royer. Monday through Friday, we are going to be streaming to you live, Los Angeles.
America's first live streaming daily talk show.
At 9 a.m. Pacific time on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube.
And we have a sexy show for you today.
We have got Will, Leanne, and Gabe in the house. Let's go back there. Hi!
Talked to 4 beautiful, intelligent, conscious women. Clearly, I was miserable the entire time.
She has a TV show similar to your guys.
Ellen.
Yes!
Yes.
The little pack. Come on.
I feel so bad for Jess.
We're live too, for the people viewing.
For the people.
Wow.
M-I-C-K-E-Y-M-O-U-S-E Club Mickey Mouse on Good Morning La La Land.
We are streaming to you live Monday through Friday on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Happy holidays.
It's gonna be a good
Good morning, La La Land.
5, 6, 7, 8. We are the Mouseketeers, and we proudly wear our ears. We mousin', hey, hey, we mousin', hey, hey. M-I-C-K-E-Y-M-O-U-S-E Club Mickey Mouse. Good morning, La La Land.
California. Welcome to Good Morning La La Land. Today is Friday Feeling. So today's theme is all about falling in love. And we want to debate the science of falling in love versus consciously falling in
Wow.
love.
Love that.
Ooh.
So the way I think about it is like falling in love and rising in love.
Ooh, I love
I've never heard
Little
rising in
twinkle now
love.
and then.
What is rising in love? I don't know if I've ever risen
Yeah.
in love.
So the way I would put
Well,
it.
I know a few things that rise in
Oh,
love.
look at Dr. Aaron. Look at Dr. And don't let that pretty face fool you.
Oh.
That angelic attitude fool you.
What is rising in love?
Yeah. So rising in love is a situation where it's a conscious relationship where each of you bring or pull each other up. You spiral upwards. So you have a conversation. Maybe you had an argument of some kind or just a disagreement, and you come out of that sort of argument or discussion stronger for it. You both feel better off for it, and you both feel more deeply connected. And that happens over and over and over again, so you spiral upwards. Whereas when you usually fall in love, you become less conscious, and before long you project more and more, and you have more and more arguments, you get more
You're
and
in
more
the
frustrated.
serotonin and oxytocin.
Yeah, you're an
coma.
addict. Yeah, you're addicted. Yeah, totally.
So this BBC, there's an article, and it's called The Science of Love. And I love it because it breaks down the stages of falling in love from a biochemistry type of a standpoint. And I know I've been there. It's deep and deep and deep. So it says first is lust, which is basically, it's all of those endorphins, all that stuff. Attraction. Oh, I'm sorry. Lust is where you actually have that testosterone and estrogen that's like driving you to get a mate. find that lust.
Very primitive.
It's very primitive. Second is attraction, which is where the dopamine and norepinephrine and serotonin kicks in. And then the third stage is attachment, and that's where oxytocin and vasopressin set in, and that's where you have major, major bonding.
I want to rewind to the stage number 2, attraction, because I found this really interesting in the article, because I didn't, when you said dopamine and some of these chemicals, it's the same thing that's actually activated by nicotine and cocaine.
Right.
So it's like actually love is a drug.
Yeah.
Right?
It's actually there's an SLAA, sex and love addiction. There's 12-step 4. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, certainly if you get addicted to it, but there's something about like craving that in that stage, like when you're in that attraction stage too, about craving time with that person, craving intimacy with that person. And I never really considered it as a drug. People say that, but really truly there's a science behind that.
Absolutely.
Amazing, right?
Yeah, it's really fun. I mean, if you think about it, you have the same symptoms that you do with drug, which is tolerance builds up and you get withdrawal, right? So yeah, it's pretty interesting actually when you think about it.
Until you OD on love.
And you OD on love.
And you
that possible?
slammed.
Yeah.
Well, so for me, I think the difference, and I honestly think you need both. That's my personal opinion. I think that biochemically, we have the need to have that fulfillment of those actual natural biological things that happen. But I believe that it has to be conscious going into it. I think that's the trick and the key to it, is to get so clear of what you're up to in your life and who you are and what you're really committed to, so you don't allow that body to, you use it instead of it using you. You use the biological to bond with the partner, but you have to choose and make the right choice of who you are, entangling with, as I say.
Look at you, dropping
Well,
knowledge.
okay, so I have a
Dr.
question then.
Okay.
Are you saying choose somebody you already have this biological reaction to, or are you saying you can choose somebody and then create the biological reaction?
I don't believe you
question,
can. I don't
yes.
believe you can create the biological, but I believe that you get to select who is the potential of having that biological bond with. Meaning that I'm not going to even put myself in the realm of having sex with somebody that I wouldn't. That I don't have a higher purpose with. That we don't have some type of a higher purpose.
And when
of
you
going
say higher
together.
purpose, I mean that's a lot of pressure right there. You're like, oh wow, you meet somebody, you're connected to them, you're attracted. You're like, what's the higher purpose for this?
Yeah, I want to know straight up what they're up to in their life. Yeah.
But are you like straight up thinking long-term commitment, marriage, kids?
No, not necessarily, but I wouldn't even want to entangle and have that be a possibility with somebody who wasn't up to extraordinary things in their life.
And I will agree with you. I think that's both intelligence and experience speaking, because that's been for me a great opportunity as well, is like to be just crystal clear on what I really want. I can put it that way. And one of the things I'm sure about is I want someone who's happy. And I've generally found that happy people have done some work. They don't. You can be sort of naturally happy, but that doesn't usually last very long, because as soon as the first thing that goes wrong happens, then you suddenly are unhappy and miserable.
That's so important that you bring that up, Rob, because I've been in personal relationships, and I've seen girlfriends be in relationships with people who aren't happy, and then we take it almost as this personal responsibility to make them happy.
Yes.
Never gonna happen.
And
Yeah.
you can't, it's
Yeah.
impossible.
Never gonna
You
happen.
can't do it. But for me personally, it's impossible not to try.
Of course, it is. It's very tempting. It's funny because I've been in like this coaching psychology business for about 2 decades. Okay, when I got into the business, I was sure I was in the people changing business. I was positive.
right.
I was like, no, I'm getting into the people changing business. I'm going to help people. I'm going to change them. And I realized that of course, that idea, that concept bleeds into your personal relationships, and you start thinking that no, that's like the number one greatest problem and fallacy of relationships. Relationships one-on-one, first class. Don't try to change the other person. Don't have a desire to change the other person. Either love them fully for who they are, or leave them alone.
Amen. You're speaking my language.
Okay,
so I
good,
think
yeah.
we should ask the expert, Lori, about what she
Well,
thinks
that's the
about
point.
this,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
So she's going to talk to us about 3 kind of key steps to successful marriage, because she has a lovely
Yeah.
marriage.
Oh my
from what I
gosh,
understand.
it's incredible. So I met Lori at the gym. Okay. I get to the gym and I see her, and I see her husband. We're connected through a friend, mutual friend, and they work out so incredibly hard. They're so incredibly kind. Like they're always smiling and friendly, and it's incredible. That relationship has just continued to grow and blossom. For the short period of time that I've known them, it's just got more and more beautiful. and they have something really deep and really authentic. It's amazing.
Nice.
Well, what's so incredible about that relationship, from what you've said, is that they are so fulfilled as individuals.
Yeah.
They are both pushing their own careers, their own life, their own self-love to really create like two whole people in a whole relationship.
Yeah, I think I'd love to talk to Lori about that.
Yay! Let's talk to Lori.
Right?
Absolutely.
So you guys, we're gonna take a little break. We're gonna go back to the back studio with Lori and find out the 3 secrets to her successful marriage.
This is Jack. His mother didn't save his childhood artwork.
She just threw it all away like it was garbage.
If only his mother had Archive. Archive is the easiest and fastest way to chronologically store your child's art. Snap a picture, tag it, and store it safely in our cloud. Then share it with friends and family. Even turn it into a calendar, mug, or your very own printed book. Oh, you were going to make one yourself? Yeah, that's what his mom said. Download the Archive app now and help us save art.
Archive, available now on the App Store.
Hey, Dr. Drew here, and I am on the HEAL Advisory Board. I got involved with this organization because it's the answer to our healthcare problem. Listen to me. You go to urgent care, you go to emergency room, you're paying for all that equipment, all that infrastructure, you're wasting time, you're exposing yourself to sick people. All you got to do is go to heal.com or get the HEAL app at heal.com. Get that HEAL app, and you can have a doctor wherever you are. It's $99 if you don't have insurance, though most insurances cover it. It's the most effective way to get the care you're looking for and the most cost efficient. $99 all in. That's it. And you get a board-certified physician to show up wherever you are, your home, your work, whatever it is, 8A to 8P, 7 days a week, including holidays. And that board-certified individual, that licensed professional, is going to just be paying attention to you and focusing on you and using his or her judgment to take care of your needs in that moment. Go to HEAL. Check it out. You'll see what I'm saying. You'll see what I'm talking about.
Hi, this is Jennifer Eddy, and I'm here with Spa Girl Cocktails today. We're thrilled to be here with Empowerista and Girl Talk Network at UNITA and El Segundo to help support and empower women in the community. We have 2 flavors with Spa Girl Cocktails, Pear and Spa. Those are our signature cocktails. They're low-calorie and gluten-free, all natural, nothing added. You can find us at Bevmo and Total Wine in all of your communities. We're thrilled to be here with Focus Magazine today in their December issue.
Hello everyone, I'm Joyce Gerard, creator of the Joyce Miracle Elixir Collection, and I'm happy to say that it's the only collection out there that is not going to have any harsh chemicals, free of parabens, free of sulfates, free of sodium chloride, absolutely cruelty-free, because for me that is super important. And it's made right here in USA. And it's the only line that is going to deliver you the best antioxidants, vitamins, fatty acids, minerals, straight from Mother Nature. I've infused my entire line with buriti, maracuya, moringa, and argan. So you have the buriti, which is the tree of life. You have the argan, which is literally liquid gold. You have the maracuya, which is the richest source of vitamin C. And you have the moringa, which is the richest superfood in the world. So I've combined all these yummy ingredients from Mother Nature and delivered them straight to you, straight to your strands, straight to your face. In all my products, that's the base of it. And the most important thing is that everything is made with love right here at home in USA, straight for you.
And the reason they book me and keep me is because it's more than just training. It's just authentic. And so I think that's one thing I realized that I had my whole life was will. I'm so determined to get to where I want to go. I'm not going to let nothing stop me, not even myself. Right? And I try to tell my clients and people, it's all a mindset. You know, Absolutely. You got to really want it. I said, you can change anything, but before you change anything, you got to change it in your mind first. Just because I always say if it doesn't challenge you, it doesn't change you.
We are so excited to have my good friend, Lori Harder. Thank you so much for coming, Lori. So
I'm
appreciate it.
so excited to be here.
So happy you're
we
here.
get rosé in
Look
the
at
morning.
you.
I know. I know. This is the way she wakes up. Literally.
Right?
Yes.
Hey.
Yeah, exactly. So, author, transformational expert. I mean, you do it all. Podcasts, 5 million downloads. You know, what are you most excited about right now?
Oh man, there's so many exciting things. I like to do a lot of different things. It keeps me, entertained in that creative. Like, I just need creativity to feel good. But most excited is probably the book because I just finished it, and I feel like I have been doing this for like 4 years.
Yeah.
I have so much work.
Oh my gosh, yes. And the editing can feel endless.
Congratulations.
Yeah, it's a
Thank
huge
you
deal.
so much. You just have to decide to cut it off at some point.
Totally.
You do.
Or it could be like a lifelong
So
thing.
tell us about the book.
The book is called A Tribe Called Bliss, and it is based on developing tribes. It's for women, so it's based on developing tribes that support you through all phases of your life. So really learning to go deep instead of just all of the surface talk. And understanding how to create a sisterhood that not only supports what you want to do in your life, but also supports your personal growth. Because I believe you're only going to go as far as you're willing to grow. And if your tribe isn't willing to grow either, you're going to outgrow them. So how do you grow together and really go deep together?
Wow.
I feel like that's the total future of everything online. I know today is about dating, relationships, and whatever, but I don't want to go too deep into that, but I too believe that tribes it's the wave of the future. Like in social media and everything, the thought of having 1 million followers, I think, is out, in my opinion. I think it's about building a very, very strong community. So I can't wait to read your book. Incredible.
I'm really
Well,
excited.
it's all about building those relationships in your community, whether beyond romantic relationships, but your sisterhood. Who's in your tribe?
Oh, I have a lot of different tribes now because the reason that it started is because originally I was raised in a really strict religion, and once I basically left that tribe, I didn't have anyone because I never built anything outside of that. I was never allowed to.
When did you leave your tribe? That tribe?
Yeah, when I was about 18 years old. So after being out of that, it was like I had nobody and completely alone for the most part. So at that point in my life, I realized that you need people, and you need a lot of different people, because as you're growing and as your beliefs change, how do you have those people through the transitions in your life to make sure that you're being supported?
So powerful. And I love this discussion around the tribe thing. I think sometimes it's very valued because a tribe and having close personal relationships sometimes prevents you from getting into relationships simply from a place of loneliness.
Yes.
I mean,
absolutely.
I've seen that, had that experience myself, and I've noticed other people have that experience. You get into a relationship simply because you're lonely, and then it ends up being the wrong relationship, and you just take from the other person. Yeah.
So speaking of, you're married. We hear that you have a pretty great marriage.
I do, and it's been a lot of work. So
How did you meet your husband?
we met at the gym, where you meet all
Where you
great
met
people.
I received that compliment.
Which gym is this?
Yeah.
I'm looking for
You
a
come
new one
through.
for New Year's.
Come through, Aaron. I got you. We got you. Yes. It is. It really is.
Because you're there in the morning, you're working out, you know what their priorities are.
Yeah.
Like, it's fantastic. So, but yeah, we met in the gym in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Tiny little town.
Wow.
Yeah, go Packers.
Okay, sorry, I'm not moving there. So that's
No,
okay.
don't go there. I moved away. Just kidding. I love you. Yeah, but we met in the gym, and honestly, at first we were not. I wasn't interested. I was I was 21 years old. I was in a really funky place in my life. I had just moved back in with my parents, which I swore I would never do. So I really, and I was getting out of another relationship, and I wanted nothing to do with relationships at that moment. So the poor guy comes up to me, and he was actually, because it's such a small town, you guys, it was like a new woman was there. And he was the third guy that came up. That has never happened to me before, ever. And the one right before him, his name was Jake, but it was tattooed on his arm. And he was like, hey, my name's Jake.
Shut up.
And poor Chris comes up right after
wow.
Jake. And I was just like, I gotta go. Yeah.
Oh no! Isn't that what happens though when someone does not want a relationship? They're like, I'm never ever going to be in a relationship.
Totally.
What convinced you to leave the I don't want this relationship space and pursue something with him?
He was really persistent, thank God. But at the time, he was willing to just stick around and be friends. And at the time, that's exactly what I needed. And we had fun. Like, we just hung out and laughed. And for me, You know, looking back, the biggest thing for me is I want to have fun and I want to laugh in all of my relationships. It's my top actual feeling that I choose. It's fun and laughing. So looking back, it was like that was the one thing with him that always came through is for the rest of my life, I want to have fun and I want to laugh. And that it was like probably 6 months of just friendship where I was not interested. And one day it just hit me like a lightning bolt. We were actually at a buffet. You know,
That's usually when you have lightning bolts insights.
Fall in love.
Totally.
And I was sitting across from him and we were like snorting laughing.
Yeah.
And it was like this lightning bolt and I was like, oh my God, like I got nervous because all of a sudden it felt like a shift. And I was like, is it the General Tso's chicken or what is it?
Like, what was in that?
Is bad chicken?
Yeah.
Or what's going on?
What was in that moose?
But all of a sudden, because I think it was just that realization of what I was going for because I was really, you know, kind of, you're 21, right? I'm into that bad boy phase. I wanted like that athlete, artsy, edgy snowboarder guy that I had gone for before, which just was not working for me. And all of a sudden I was just having the best time of my life and it was easy. So things just shifted like, wow, I'm actually falling in love for a completely different reason.
That is
like,
incredible.
But I do have a question because I'm sure it hasn't always been easy in this relationship.
Oh God, no.
So how do you get back to the have fun, let's laugh? Because it's not always fun.
You know, I think when you have a solid connection like that, when you know it's possible, you need to be committed to the idea. And the thing about Chris and I is we have always communicated. Something about that, well, actually I know what it is. He's always made me communicate. So I have learned, because what I used to do in relationships is when they would go awry or we'd fight, I would leave. Really great way to solve things, right?
Absolutely. I'm with you. I do the same thing.
I'd be like, I'm out of here, you know, whatever,
Deuces,
I'm
I'm out.
driving away.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And that solves nothing. It only lets you stew, obviously, and lets you be like, go back to your old default, which mine was, I'm better alone, I'm fine alone, I'm strong, I can do this, I can handle this, I've been alone before. But it wasn't working for me. You know, the things we say are working are actually the things that are like holding us back from where we need to go. So for him, it was one time he goes, if you walk out that door, if you leave this conversation, don't bother coming back because we are not communicating. Like this isn't working for us.
It's so interesting because, you know, traditionally, it's often worked the other way.
Yeah.
You know, generally men communicate less.
Yes.
And, you know, and women tend to communicate more. And that's something that I work with clients on. It's so interesting to hear it the other way around. Were you always a communicator? Is that something that you, always not a communicator,
I was always not a communicator. I was very much like, I wanted to keep the peace in my family, so I just really kept everything to myself. And he was basically raised by his mother. I mean, his father was there, but he was traveling all the time. So his mom is like the biggest communicator. So they would just go on these long car rides all the time and just talk and talk and
And
talk
now
and
you
talk.
are a professional communicator.
Yeah.
You know? You've got podcasts. Like, you went from walking away to like, let me tell the world.
Yes.
You know, it's because we teach what we need the most, for sure. So I went from not communicating at all to learning what it actually looks like to start communicating so I can teach on what this is gonna look like doing it, because it's not gonna be fun. It's gonna feel like an inner temper tantrum, like whenever you sit down and someone wants to communicate with you, you're like, no. I don't want to. Because that's what you do, you know? So really communicating though, it's amazing what happens when you can start to learn each other's communication styles. And I heard you guys talking about that over there, and I loved it because once we understood what the styles were and what the other one needs, and that I might need a little bit of space and I might need a few questions to start getting into it, and that is just my default of protection, of running away. It's not even, it's not even something with him, right? It's never something with them. It's always something with us. So really learning to give each other that space and time, and then that time to communicate as well.
Wow.
So for him and I, it'll be, I mean, we just got in a fight yesterday. It was fantastic.
Was it really fantastic?
Now that you have the tools, you're like, bring it on, bring it on.
You know what though? We work together too. So we have Monday like team meetings as well. And yesterday was kind of more of our Monday because we're getting back into work after the holiday. And I think that we were both just like, because we both have these passions, obviously, and he does more of the numbers and business end, and I'm more like wanting to lead from my heart. And for him, it's like, what's the numbers? How many people? What's going on? And I'm like, I am not going to be able to do what I do if I am thinking about the number of people. So we'll often like have these little fires, but I always say a bunch of little fires are better than like a raging, you know, explosion.
Yeah.
So if you can view it that way, like it's just two passionate people coming together, as long as you don't leave it. So for us, we do walks at the end of almost every single night. And they're about 60 minutes. We go walk our giant golden doodle dog named Waffles.
Oh,
and
Yeah, Waffles is surprisingly human. You have no idea.
And
Really.
she's therapy as well, because you can talk through her. Like you can, you know, he can say what.
It's kind of wild, actually.
Yeah, Waffles
Yeah.
thinks this about you right now.
Yeah.
But do you really feel like that physical activity of just like walking and getting out of your workspace or your home helps you in that?
Yes. You know, the top three things I believe are growth, communication, and play. And as far as communication goes, you need to understand that you're not going to communicate right away. Like you almost need to physically move it through your body. So, you know we all go to the gym, we all go work out, and it's like you don't even feel like yourself until the first 20, 30 minutes of moving, and your brain starts to get a different perspective.
Yeah. Right.
You know, you start to feel differently about how you felt inside of your home or having that argument. It's like change your environment and go move your body, because you are going to gain such a different perspective. I don't remember which president it was, but whenever he would have a big you know, decision that he would have to make, or when he would have someone come in for a meeting, they would go walk around, because that was the only way they make decisions.
Interesting. I mean, even for me, just walking down the street, like, I didn't realize this, but it does help me clear my mind. Even in like communication or fighting a relationship, it's like I need to get out of here and take a walk for a second, just to like.
I want to hear more about. We actually have to take a break, but I couldn't agree more. Being external versus internal in our mind chatter, in the total entanglement of whatever emotions are going on, getting external, going out is so wonderful. When we come back, what I really want to hear, I want to hear also a little bit more about this, and I want to hear also about your 3 tips to your success, really breaking it down for everyone. So stay tuned, you guys. We will be right back.
In La La Land, I'm Dr. Aaron.
I'm Rob Mack.
And I'm Jasmine Royer.
Monday through Friday, we are going to be streaming to you live, Los Angeles.
America's first live streaming daily talk show.
At 9 a.m. Pacific time on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube.
And we have a sexy show for you today.
We have got Will, Leanne, and Gabe in the house. Let's go back there. Hi!
Talk to 4 beautiful, intelligent, conscious women. Clearly, I was miserable the entire time.
She has a TV show similar to your guys.
Ellen.
Yes!
Yes!
The little peck. Come on.
I feel so bad for Jess.
We're live too, for the people viewing.
For the people.
Wow!
MICKEYMOUSE Club Mickey Mouse on Good Morning La La Land.
We are streaming to you live Monday through Friday on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Happy holidays.
It's going to be a good
Good morning, La La Land.
5, 6, 7, 8. We are the Mouseketeers, and we proudly wear our ears. We mousin', we mousin', MICKEYMOUSE Club Mickey Mouse. Good morning, La La Land.
Back on Good Morning La La Land with some Friday feels, and I want to give a special shout out to Leonie Candelli for this fabulous candle. talking romance and relationships, and it's very sensual, isn't it?
It's absolutely gorgeous.
500 hours burns for 500 hours.
500 hours is a
Longer than most of my
lot.
relationships. By far.
What's it tell? You're like,
By about 499 hours.
Well, supposedly
Just
this might help those relationships because it releases these negative ions that cleans and detoxes the air. It's all natural. It's beeswax. So maybe Rob needs to take this.
That's
home.
I do. Yeah. Just pour it over myself. Is that what I need to do? Pour the hot wax all over myself. All right. Yeah.
So, Lori, we were talking before about 3 tips. I mean, you have a great relationship with your husband. Clearly, you have done a lot of work, and we want to know your 3 kind of secrets.
Okay, so there's 3, but there's a lot of different things under the 3. So growth, communication, and play. And I really think growth is the number 1 because you are only going to grow as far as you're both willing to go. So in a relationship, it's never about how you are, if you're reliant on the other person or what that person is giving to you. It is simply about 2 whole people coming together in order to create an incredible relationship. So as far as growth, Chris and I have committed to always personally growing. So I'm always working on myself. He's always working on himself. And that's just an agreement in the relationship. And when I say growth, it's really about knowing that you both have that agreement to grow together. So to grow separately and also together.
So it's not like Tom Cruise, like you complete me, that whole thing.
No. Jerry Maguire complex, baby. No.
You complete me. Oh my gosh.
But I think
Sounds
it's
so
really
nice.
beautiful what you said though, that you've made the commitment and agreed to grow separately, but you're also growing together. Because so many times in relationships, you grow separately and you grow apart. But you're making a conscious effort to grow together.
Yes.
And it's interesting. I often wonder if it's that people grow apart or they just go apart. I'm not sure they're growing. I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm interested to find that out. But
I do think that you can, because I see a lot of, especially with friends in the personal development arena, we have a lot of different couple friends, and some are growing together and some are growing apart. But the ones that I see are kind of growing apart. One has either decided not to do anything while the other they're in this growth trajectory.
Oh, interesting.
Or they're both growing, but one's going in a really, maybe I have a friend who's a super spiritual yogi, but the other one is very just business and like a different style. So I do think that you either are, and I also believe in, kind of like soul contracts. So maybe they fulfilled their contract within what they were meant to do for each other. So, but always coming back to check in with each other.
Agreed.
So that's what our walks are, is kind of those check-ins, like where are you at, how you feeling, like I know that I want to do, with Chris and I, it was like, I know I want to do ballroom dancing. I knew I wanted to do that. I would love for you to come with me and do some classes with me. Are you willing to grow with me in this area? Because I do think this is an area where I'm going to want to spend a lot of time
You
in.
will do so well. You have the body for it. It's
We did it.
beautiful
We
dance.
thank you. We did it.
Gorgeous dance, yeah.
But it was that communication of, do you want to go here with me? This is really important to me. And then him saying, how important is it? Like, am I going to miss out on it? Yeah, really. He's like, do I really have to wear that leotard? And I was like, yeah.
Chris can pull it off.
No,
He'll
but
pull anything.
which brings you to, the third tip of play. I mean, then you're dancing together, you're playing together.
Yes. Playing is so vital because when you play, you tap into a part of yourself that basically, okay, so a long time ago, I heard this book. It was called How to Cheat on Your Husband with Your Husband.
We had her on.
Awesome. We love her. Yeah.
Just
So
last week.
I love that concept because what's happening is you're both becoming new when you're playing. You're becoming like 2 different types of people, and it's this side that you don't get to see in the monotony of life. Even if your life is great, you're still doing the same thing every single day, over and over for the most part. You fall into these same rituals, and play is like this free space with no boundaries, no real rules, and you're getting excited again, by that person.
Andrea Sertash, who wrote that book, she also said you have to be your vacation self.
Yeah, totally.
And that's so interesting because typically in my real life, I'm not my vacation self. And you play so much differently if you go into that space. Then you can actually cheat on your husband with your husband.
Right. Jeff's vacation self is right here. The champagne, that's what champagne is for.
Put down the coffee, get the champagne.
Andrea's really brilliant woman. I love
shout out to
many
Andrea Sertash.
books, right?
Yeah,
Shout out,
fantastic.
for sure.
And one of the things I love about what you just said, and I love countless things that you said, but one of the things I love most is that we often think about growth as always being painful. And I think I think what you're saying there to a large extent is that growth can be playful and it can be enjoyable, and it is all intended to make for a happier life both personally, and professionally, in all ways. And so growth, the end goal of growth is increasing happiness.
Yes.
Right? So, and you talk about that a lot in the podcast too, right? Earn Your Happy.
Yes.
Yeah. So can you talk to us a little bit about what sort of how the podcast started and what do you sort of cover there?
Yeah, 5 million downloads. Hello.
Yeah.
So
Where did this
ridiculous.
all start? Where did this all start for you?
You know what? It literally started because it was a super selfish thing. I was at home, and when I say selfish, you'll see what I mean, but I was at home. I found myself doing a lot of the same stuff. So even though I'm an entrepreneur who has a lot of things going on, it can fall into the same routine. And I realized that working from home and not seeing a lot of people, I wanted to have more rich, in-depth conversations and have access to these people who just light my brain up. And I was like, how am I gonna do, how is this person gonna wanna talk to me for an hour? I was like, a podcast. So, what a great excuse. So I get on people who just, it's either been a book that I love or just something that has just shared and changed my life. And we have conversations about things that I think people aren't necessarily talking about. So uncomfortable stuff, the growth stuff, where things fall apart, that you do have to earn your happiness every single day, that most people aren't innately happy. And that it's a choice. It's something that you have to grow into and you have to choose for your daily life and you have to wake up to it and think about it. So most people who are the happiest in the world have gone through the biggest struggles. And the thing about the happy people who've gone through the struggles is they're typically not sharing them because they're happy. So people look at it and say, oh, they have a charmed life.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, they're so blessed.
So
And it's
true.
like they probably have underneath just so many, hardships that they've gone through.
That's so interesting because I just tripped one day. I just tripped and I literally was like, oh wow, I feel happy. That's really, that was
Right.
it. I just
When I
tripped.
started being real happy and fulfilled, and I would go speak, and people say, you need to tell more relatable stories and tell about your hard times. Like, well, I'm over that stuff. You know what I mean? So I had to come back down to getting to the transition. And it's, so I'm sure that's what you.
Yeah, and props to you for doing that, because honestly, that's the hard part, because happy people don't want to go back into the dirt, right? We don't want to go back into the muck. And I think that's whenever I get on a stage, I'm like, oh my God, I have to go there.
I know, right?
Because you don't want to, but that's the warrior work, is being able to go back and feel it and write that book and get into the feelings and get back to that place that brought you to the high to share that journey. And
So
I think
how did
that's,
you earn your happy, Lori?
Oh, so many different ways, but it's really learning about what those rituals are and what the setup is to what is the mindset of the people who are the happiest. And it's really waking up for me every single day and choosing it and having the I get to do that attitude instead of I have to do that. And really looking at all the things in your life as there was a day that I once wished to be this busy. There was a day that I once wish I had all these emails. There was a day that I wish that these people were asking me to do all these extra things. And then also learning that part of happiness is having really fierce boundaries and also letting go of people,
Very good, very true.
Yeah,
Talk a
sometimes
little bit
that's the
more
hardest
about
part.
that. So, and what do you mean by boundaries?
Boundaries.
Yeah.
Boundaries are probably one of the toughest things for people and also women, because a lot of us have been raised, if you're in your 30s, 40s, 50s, to people please. And that's how we get love, right? It's like the more I say yes to you, the more you're gonna love me. And if I say no to you, that might mean that you don't love me anymore or you don't need me. So boundaries are huge. Like the second you start saying no to make room for your yeses, it's like that's the moment that you start to think, people might not love me. I might not be liked. I might not be asked to this party again if I don't bring those cupcakes or.
Absolutely, that resonates with me
Yeah.
so deeply. I'm classically overcommitted in my
Yes.
life, because if I have an hour of free time and somebody says, oh, can you do this? Yes. I was taught you just say yes, you do it.
So I'm going to challenge you to think, do you like this?
Yeah. Tee it up, Lori. The coaching coming through right now. Brace yourself, Jessamine. Brace yourself.
So think of your ultimate relationships in your life. And I'm going to challenge you just to think about if you showed up more you, fully recharged, fully 100% in your essence, because you are rested, you've done the things that like feed your soul and fuel who you are. Like imagine how those will grow and how those will flourish if you set those boundaries on all of those little things that aren't actually aligned,
So how do you get over the guilt of doing that for yourself?
Talking to a lot, so the podcasting has helped me with this, with talking to so many people to know that guilt is a part of it. and like forgiving that guilt and saying, no, this is for a higher purpose. Like always aligning back up, right, with that higher purpose. So having literally writing out like maybe a statement of what your highest purpose is for yourself, which will trickle into your relationships, and always with every single decision going back to that question. Does this match that?
But what if it's somebody asking for help? Right? How do you keep that boundary?
So you can't, sometimes you have to realize that those people are either A, not meant to get help or meant to get help from you. Because the biggest, it's like robbing someone of their rock bottom, right? So they need to go through whatever they need to go through. And especially if it's a serial person who asks for help, right? You can look at kind of who is asking for help. Is it, your soul will know if you actually say, am I meant to help this person? Or is this somebody who's probably not going to take the help? So ask yourself a few questions. Is this person actually going to take this help? Can they get help any other way? Do they need to go through this on their own? And letting that be. Because a lot of times we take it on, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You take it on and then you have no more time or energy left for yourself.
Right, and then you can get resentful if they don't
take.
Hell
yeah! So then you're like, you're angry, you're resentful, which doesn't help anybody because then you're helping them and you're mad about it.
Oh yeah, I went through like a huge resentful stage. I was, and I just keep helping the same people. And I was like, so actually I started looking at it and I was like, I'm getting like hits, like dopamine hits off of helping people who I know aren't using this help. So then it became really looking at me and saying, I'm addicted to almost like abusing myself, like to draining myself. I'm addicted to the stress. I'm addicted to almost this martyrdom of I help everyone except I'm dying.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah. So on that note, I think there's probably a lot of people out there that want your help, and we're running out of time, unfortunately, you guys. So I want to like go on with this whole thing. How can they find you? How can they learn more about your podcast, your husband's podcast?
Best project.
How can they begin to have these conversations? Because it really is just a conversation, right? The epiphanies that are happening right here, people can have every day by tuning into your podcast.
Thank you so much. The podcast is earnyourhappy.com, so you can go there and download. My husband's is fortheloveofmoney.com, and that is really about revamping your money mindset, because if you want to do anything with passion in the world and you want to put your message out there and help people, you have to have the money to do it, right? So that's really resetting your money mindset. And then I also have an event that is called The Bliss Project. So that is theblissproject.info, and that is a weekend dedicated to women who want to shift their life in 3 days, really.
Wow.
Sign me up.
Love that.
Yes, yeah, no, seriously, I would love to come and talk about that and like bring you back on and what the journey is all about and share and connect with the other women.
They're wonderful.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Thank you so much for all your time.
Thank you guys. You're all amazing. I could
Such a
talk to you all day.
gorgeous, true beauty inside and out. And looking forward to meeting your husband. Looking forward to a journey all together. Just, you know, we want to discover more and more about your whole thing, because it's very, very impressive. Very impressive. Yes. So
That's a new word. I like it.
we have to go right now, but we're going to come back. When we come back, we're going to do a little recap of the last month. We have an epic month and taking us into the new year. So stay tuned, you guys. Live from Los Angeles, California. What a day, you guys.
Yes.
What a month.
What a month.
What a month. December 2017 has been an incredible month for us here in Good Morning La La Land as the first ever daily lifestyle streaming talk show, Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. we have been live.
Right? It's
Making
been an epic,
history. It has been epic.
It has been epic.
Here's to this month.
Here's to Good Morning La La Land.
Right?
What a
Here's
month.
to,
Okay.
Incredible.
So what have been some of the most memorable moments for you guys this month?
So of course, I'm going to say the Lori interview. It's fantastic because it was just happened,
really,
and it was so
right?
powerful for me, so incredibly powerful. I love the discussion that we had with Ramani Darvasala, sort of about sex and dating.
Yep.
She's going to come back, of course, next month.
Yes, I just started. Should I
I
stay
stay or
or
should I
should
go?
go?
Yeah, it's awesome.
Okay,
Yes.
my library list this month,
Right.
it's just like I cannot keep up. Yesterday, Course in Miracles, and then, Maria's book.
Oh,
I mean,
Maria
just,
Felipe, yes.
I have got a library list set for 2017.
Yeah, this show will turn you into a book reader real quick.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, it's incredible.
We do have, Fridays have been fun and incredible guests. I mean, so much wisdom that's sat on this couch already. It's been incredible. And then I think I've been enjoying Wealth Wednesday a lot.
Phil Ranta was great.
Phil Ranta was incredible. COO of Studio 71. They are just changing the whole digital landscape of entertainment and really just on the forefront of the evolution of Hollywood and entertainment. And his insight was incredible.
Oh my goodness, fantastic.
And Ken
LaCourte.
I mean,
LaCourte
Fox
News.
I mean, Incredible Now has its own transitioning to changing the entire scope of how you consume your news.
And absolutely, I've been consuming my news every morning with the LaCourte Report, the daily newsletter he's been putting out Monday through Friday, and it's an incredible, unbiased take on what's happening not only in America but across the world. That's relevant to the conversations you need to be having. To have that knowledge, today. So thank you, Ken LaCourte, for being here.
Absolutely. Tracy
Bartol.
Bartol. Oh my gosh, so many
Badass
pictures.
woman.
Yes. Rogue Warrior. Absolutely love her.
Her
She's so
pictures on
sweet.
Instagram, I'm all bam.
Yeah,
like,
she doesn't
really?
play around on Instagram.
One of my favorites was our very, very first guest, Lillian Garcia,
Ah.
former host of WWE's Monday Night Raw. She was part of the show for 15 years. She holds the record for singing the most national anthems in the sports arena. I mean, and she was such an incredible light. She's got Chasing Glory. It's now on Podcast One. And she is telling people's stories in a very real, raw, and relevant way. She's going to be in next month's issue of Focus Magazine as well. So special shout out to Lillian. We love what you're doing with Chasing Glory.
Absolutely fantastic. I mean, that's part of what makes this show so special is both that people have such incredible knowledge and information to share. They do it in such an entertaining way, and they come from such a big-hearted place, like from a place of compassion. It's amazing.
Most entertaining interviews and such a big heart, Kimbo.
Oh my gosh.
I mean,
yes.
he is the best blonder in the business, and he has got this incredible salon right in Beverly Hills.
Yeah.
He's a mogul, and he's coming from the heart.
Oh my gosh.
Immigrant, 9 years old, coming to America to pursue the American dream, and just his light and sharing his story. That was so fun.
Love Kimbo. And that reminds me of the phenomenal interview that we had with Rachel McCord, part of the Focus
Rachel.
TV family. She's amazing. Yeah, we love
Wow.
Rachel. The energy, the passion, sort of a purpose, and I love the idea of her doing sassy self-help, and the relationship she has with her husband, of course, is inspiring in and of itself.
We need to have them on a Friday, for
yes,
sure.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And reaching the younger generation, having the Mickey Mouse Club.
Oh my gosh.
Gabe, Will, Leanne, such incredible, talented, driven youth. Just to be a part of their energy and their presence was so much fun.
It was, and the energy that you saw here that was on the set was the same energy they take outside. That's who they are.
They are living it.
They are. They stay lit. Yeah. They stay very lit.
That
yes.
Musketeer was so fun.
Oh my gosh,
by the way.
totally. I still don't have it down yet. I'm working on it.
But I have to say that over the course of this last month, that two things really stick out. Of course, all the guests. We also had all the non-profit philanthropy with all the toys for Christmas.
Totally.
That
Toy
was
Drive.
At the
Hope
Nail and
Organization.
Bone, right?
Nail
Just the
and Bone.
whole giving back to the community. But what has really been so profound for me is the team here.
Yes.
Andy and Victoria and our synergy. I really appreciate just having the dynamic of having different segments and coming together. And I'm just excited because we've had such great feedback from the community. It's amazing that there really isn't another show in LA doing this, which seems so bizarre because behind the scenes, the people of Los Angeles people from the outside world think everyone's crazy here.
Speaking of which,
Yes,
where have you been?
Yay.
We need you here.
We love Victoria.
Just working away.
I heard everything you said though, just in case you didn't know.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
She hears everything,
yeah.
she sees everything, and the show would not happen
Oh my
without
gosh.
Victoria.
It would never happen.
We could not
yeah.
be more grateful.
We had birthdays. It's a big month.
I didn't come here to hear compliments, just saying. I know it seems like it.
Oh, come on, tell you more. Tell you
Yeah,
more.
Come on, get it straight.
You guys, I appreciate you so much. And it's such an honor to sit here every day and listen to you guys first thing in the morning. I wouldn't wake up at 6 a.m. for anyone. Just saying.
Well, thank you for waking up with us, and thank you, Los Angeles, for being a part of the La La Land community here. It's been such an honor to wake up with you every day, to hear you, to celebrate you, to tell your stories, and to be encouraged and inspired by you.
Right.
Absolutely.
And so on Monday, we have a special New Year's Day. We're going to be here for 2 hours, and we don't even know what we're doing yet. So we are excited to just bring in the new year, because I'm positive 2018 for me, at a soul level, it just feels right. Everything feels right. It's a year of 11. I'm a numerological year of 11, and which is really all about enlightenment. So this show is about shift happens, and that's really what is sticking behind the intention of this show.
Yeah, I love it. That's inspiring.
Right?
I'm excited. 2018. But I'm excited every day just to be here with you guys, to be honest with you. So I'm good. Yeah, I'm looking forward to 2018. This has really been an incredible ride, and I feel so deeply grateful for just being a part of it. So thank you all for that.
Right? So stay tuned, you guys, for 9 a.m. on Monday morning as we take in the new year right here live from Los Angeles at Focus TV Network on Good Morning La La.